Viewer contributions make local programming possible on WNIN. Become a member of WNIN with your contribution so we can continue to make this programming available. Visit WNIN.org and click on the donate button.
Across the tri-state, thousands are struggling to put food on the table. Challenges could include rising grocery prices, increasing unemployment, and a reduction in government benefits. To combat these challenges, many are working together to find ways to feed our community. On this episode of Newsmakers, we will discuss food insecurity and how it affects the tri-state. That's coming up next on WNIN Newsmakers. Welcome to WNIN Newsmakers. I'm April Nading. To learn more about food insecurity challenges in our area, we have Deputy Mayor of Evansville, Lindsay Snyder, and Director of the Tri-State Food Bank, Zach Hieronymus. Both are part of the Evansville Commission on Food Insecurity. Hello, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, April.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about what is the Evansville Commission on Food Insecurity and what are its goals?
Well, I can start. The commission was started with Lloyd Winnicke's administration during the COVID pandemic. So he brought together groups of people from the community, different stakeholders, to make sure and to help those that were facing food insecurity during the pandemic. And that's continued since, and still working on filling those gaps when needed.
So why did you all feel like it's important to continue it? I mean, obviously, if that was the first time, was during COVID, why did it need to continue?
Because the need continues.
It continues to grow.
Right.
Right. Okay. So tell me about, can you describe how the Tri-State Food Bank helps with food insecurity?
Yeah, as a member of the Food Commission and one of the lead hunger relief agencies, we have a network of pantries here, 23 in the city of Evansville alone. We have 9 soup kitchens that we help, provide food product as part of the hunger relief efforts that we're doing here in the community. And I'd like to say also as part of the Food Commission, the strategy and the efforts that are made as far as recommendations to the administration and bringing together multiple agencies to have that collective impact is quite important as well too.
Well, I know you mentioned how the need continues. What has been the recent trend with food insecurity in our area? I mean, is it getting better or worse over the years?
Well, I would think with just rising utility costs, rising cost of everything, families continue to be strapped and to need help, and the commission wants to be sure that we're doing what we can within our power to help the families in our community.
Yeah. Well, I think I've seen interviews with people saying they're having to choose about what to buy.
Yeah, it's a difficult challenge right now. What we see here locally in Evansville alone, about 16.2% of all individuals are identified as food insecure. Nearly 20% of those are children as well. When you look at especially what we've seen in the data from our partner agencies since about May, when the tariffs really started kicking in, grocery prices are really, elevated, and people are feeling it left and right. We've seen about a 20% increase in our network partners on what the demand is for the hunger relief programs, and we don't see really an end in sight. And obviously the challenges with the shutdown, especially SNAP benefits not being there. Food Commission is really in the response mode right now with all of its partners, making sure that we're addressing this challenge today.
When you brought up the SNAP benefits, I know like right now while we're filming this, there have been some lapses in funding for SNAP. I mean, how has this affected things locally?
Oh man, it's been tremendous. When you look at, we have about 9,500 households here in the city of Evansville alone that rely on that particular benefit. 40% of those are children, 20% of those are seniors on fixed income, and many of them are working families. For that benefit to not be there, especially at a time where utility costs are high, grocery costs are high, it's almost an impossible challenge that we've been tasked with. But I will say that the response from Tri-State Food Bank, Feed Evansville, all of our partners in the Food Commission is really rising up to meet that challenge. And we have a lot of thanks to give to many folks in the community for helping support the efforts that are going on today.
Now, you mentioned that I can't remember what percentage you said now, 16%, I think, that are identified as having food insecurity. How do you define that? How is someone, not labeled, but how do you define what is when someone is?
The way that we do it is we leverage the Map the Meal Gap data that Feeding America, our parent organization, so to speak, leverages. It's a formula with aggregate data that really shows what the true costs are in each community and how that plays out on their grocery budget every year or every month.
What are some of the largest obstacles in reducing food insecurity locally, do you think?
Man, that's almost a loaded question.
Well, isn't it our community for 1 month will be losing $3.7 million in SNAP benefits?
Absolutely.
So that's to put a number to how much our community would be getting that so far for November has not.
And when you look at kind of the data here in our particular community, I mean, livable wages is a struggle. We've got nearly 1 in 2 households that are deemed ALICE households, meaning asset limited, income constrained, but employed, on down into poverty. We're hovering about 23% poverty here in the city of Evansville alone. So when we think about what are the things that can elevate folks out, SNAP is a huge way to reduce poverty, address food insecurity, but reality is livable wages is something that we have to work towards as a community if we really want to get upstream with respect to meeting that need much greater with impact instead of just meeting the need with food to help fill their cupboards.
What can people in the community do to help out during this time?
I feel like there's a lot of options for volunteering, for one. Young and established, I know Courtney's going to be talking with you today. They do something once a week where he's there, and last week our office went. There were over 100 people there able to get food, but he had volunteers helping him. And I'm sure Salvation Army every year, there are so many ways to volunteer, especially during the holidays. So I think there are plenty of ways. So if people are watching, just look out there. People need help with volunteers, and it's a good time to sign up.
And maybe in making donations, I would assume, food donations.
Well, I think right now both food and cash is good. Tri-State Food Bank and Feed Evansville have set up what is a SNAP response fund dedicated to this challenge that we have. So every bit of dollars that are coming in are turning around and purchasing food to help stock up our pantries or do mobile distributions. So we've done a couple last week. Feed Evansville has got a grocery that they're doing. They had their first one over the weekend on Saturday. Completely went through many thousands of dollars worth of food until all of the shelves.
CK Newsom Center, right?
Yep.
And they'll continue to do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we're both, us and all of our partners in the Food Commission are scheduling up mobile distributions and really trying to elevate the work that we're doing on a day-to-day basis.
Well, where can people get more information about the commission and Tri-State Food Bank?
City of Evansville website, you can find more information on the Food Commission.
Yeah, and tristatefoodbank.org. If you go on there, you can find out when our mobile distributions are coming on. If you want to help support the SNAP Response Fund, there's a link on there as well too. Again, I want to reiterate that every dollar that's coming in is turning around and purchasing food to go on out. There's no overhead attached to that with this particular response fund. And we've been also beneficial to see some additional dollars committed from the city of Evansville that we're going to be leveraging, not just now, but throughout the holiday season, because what our families, our neighbors are missing right now without having these SNAP benefits loaded, and frankly, we don't know when they're going to be loaded, is missing meals, right? And so we're going to be in not just response mode now, but we're going to be playing catch up as a system, as a community throughout the entire holiday season.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for the information.
Yeah.
This past weekend, WNIN visited an event designed to help those experiencing food insecurity related to SNAP benefits. WNIN reporter Tim Jagalow has more.
Okay. Turkey lunch meat. Okay, thank you. mozzarella cheese. Okay, thank you.
In response to public food benefits like SNAP being frozen during the U.S. government shutdown, Feed Evansville held a pop-up grocery store for the first time.
Lettuce, and that's it.
I got it, Bob.
Terry Rexing of Evansville thinks that with their $50 voucher, she received about $100 worth of groceries at no cost. Rexing, who works full-time, usually receives $300 per month for herself and her 3 children.
It's going to be hard this month. It is, especially with the holidays and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's going to be really hard the next few months. Yeah, it's bad timing.
Shredded cheddar. Sliced cheddar. Sliced cheddar. Lettuce. Lettuce.
So today, Feed Evansville for the first time opened their EBT SNAP grocery store, and we are allowing citizens that have enrolled in SNAP but aren't getting their funding on their SNAP card to come and go shopping at our pop-up grocery store. So we have different dry goods, cereals, syrup, flour, things like that. And then we also have a produce section, a meat section, and then they can just basically shop for what they want. There's no money to them. We give them a voucher based on how many are in their household, and we go from there.
Eggs.
Vaughn says using the vouchers here takes those dollars further than a grocery store, though with budget limitations they can't provide the entire benefit at this time. Vanderburgh County alone usually receives $3.7 million monthly for SNAP benefits. This pop-up grocery store was one part of the City of Evansville's food readiness plan. It also included a pause on water shutoffs and a master list of food providers during the shutdown.
And so as soon as we know SNAP is completely taken care of is when this grocery store and the rest of the things we have planned will stop. I was planning on 200 to 300 families. I think we're going to double that.
Qualifying Hoosiers were told that they would receive partial SNAP benefits on their EBT cards on Tuesday, November 11th, paid by the state. Feed Evansville is planning another pop-up grocery store. For WNIN News, I'm Tim Jagalow.
Next, to learn more about a local organization working to feed the community, we have Courtney Johnson, an Evansville City Council member and Executive Director of Young and Established. Courtney, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about what is Young and Established and how has it been helping out recently with food insecurity?
So Young and Established is a nonprofit that I started 13 years ago. And we started off mentoring, tutoring, and opened up a community center in 2020. And we have several community events that we do, but we're known for basically our mentoring and tutoring, but it has shifted a little bit over the years. But 2020 is when we really just focused really on food insecurity, COVID, scary times, and me personally, I knew a lot of our families wasn't gonna have basically access to food. And I was going door to door, picking up food from the schools and just doing a lot of things. And then I believe Feed Evansville was created around that time. So I was also volunteering and helping them weekly with what they were doing in those beginning stages. But yeah, we do a lot of other things now, but the short version is we're a nonprofit, local nonprofit that does a lot of community work.
Well, you know, you started in 2020, you said, as far as feeding more people, but it's continued. Why do you think it is that didn't go back to where it was, where maybe people didn't have as much food insecurity? I mean, what's happening with the trend?
So the need has always been there, and even since we've started, it's been there. COVID, it was a lot more, obviously with the times and what was going on. But to be honest, we really just took on this role back in November 2023. There's a neighborhood Walmart that is literally right behind our community center. And we work with the families in the community. So there were a lot of employees that worked there and staff that I knew that basically were telling me that food was being thrown away. None of the food banks were picking it up. So I went there several times to talk to the manager, and I was told no a bunch of times. He would basically rather just throw it away. And then finally, about, I say the 8th time, he said, "I'm tired of seeing you," his exact words. take this food. And I
You
took
go
that
away
food.
if I give you
Yeah,
food.
no, and I was like, great, I will. So with a smile on my face, took the
Right.
food and literally took everything over to WNIN, made a Facebook post. 30 minutes, 400 people showed up, food was gone. Wow. We have been doing it every Wednesday since, and this is November 2023. So now we have Targets, we have Walmarts, we have Schnucks, Family Dollar, Dollar General, and then a lot of local restaurants and people that just donate, and we make sure the food goes directly to those that are in need. No requirements, no IDs, none of that. And people, come. And it has gotten bigger and bigger, new faces. And of course, in the past 2 months, even before SNAP, we've seen an increase of about 40%. And this is new faces too, as well. So we don't like to keep records of anything, but we do take down their name, household number, and then also just their zip code. So we know what zip code we're serving, but then also we plan to, and their phone number as well, to create an app that will shoot basically a message out instead of Facebook, even though it comes in handy. Social media brings a lot of folks, but we just want to do something a little bit different, and I think an app would be great where you receive a message, right there, real time, as far as a food giveaway or what we have planned next.
So I noticed, or I think you mentioned you have weekly Wednesdays.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, but then you also, I know you just had a chili, and that was on Sunday. So it's even more than just the Wednesday giveaway or food giveaways.
It is. We do community meals, but then we also serve several of our schools, shelters. So a lot of this food that we're getting, we have programs. We have a backpack program that's serving over 100 plus students where, and I'm sure you probably heard of it, where they're able to take a backpack home, but the weekends is not enough. We're literally serving every day because these kids need it, not just on the weekends, not just, at school, a lot of these kids are eating, but you got to think at home, and definitely with the times that we're having now, these kids are not getting food. So we can't wait until the weekend to give a backpack full of, a variety of food, but we're serving and doing a lot of things every day.
What happens to it after you've picked up the food at Walmart or wherever? What do you do with it after that?
So we take it directly to our walk-ins. We purchase walk-ins, we purchase the box truck. So we've gone a lot into our budget that's supposed to go to other things to make sure this food goes directly to those families. So we take it right where it's supposed to go, whether it's a walk-in cooler, deep freezers. We literally have everything that we need to store this food. And as I mentioned, a warehouse. We purchased a warehouse last year, actually, to have more storage because we're receiving so much. And we have farmers that are donating as well. So we have people literally coming together to make sure our families have what we need, even before the SNAP benefits and everything else that's taken place. We've jumped into this role and been doing it for a very long time.
What about food deserts are often mentioned as an obstacle to food security. Do we have many in Evansville? Or?
Several. We have several food deserts, and I'm glad you brought that up. One of the projects that we have currently that we've been working on for almost 2 years now it's called Granddaddy's Garden Spot. So this is a food desert, and it's close to Glenwood, if you're familiar with the area, on Riverside. And this piece of land was purchased by my grandfather, and he always had a garden on it. So not only to honor him, but to help our community, this is a green space, not only where we will have our young people and our community members come and garden, but it's a place for us to gather, to cook, to give away food, to do all of these things on this space. And we've had so much help from our community, from the union to Mattingly Charities. We've had a lot of people donate and spend time. Also BFIT to help us get that piece of property up and running. So this year is a little too late to try to plan anything, but for the most part, we got everything complete. So next year, we're going to be excited to actually use that space for what it's intended to be used for.
It can actually be a learning opportunity.
Oh, it's all of that.
Yeah.
Learning, and not just our young people, but we have a partnership with SWRCA. So our young people are able to work with our seniors.
And interact with them.
That's kind of
awesome.
how my grandfather did with us. So it's kind of unique, and it's just full circle.
Wow. So tell me about how people can learn or can help or learn more about Young and Established.
So you can check our website out, youngannestablished.com, but then also we post everything. I think it's important to just look at our social media to see the work that we're doing, but then also to see the impact that we're having, because some people may assume it's just one Wednesday and it's just a small giveaway. But just a few weeks ago, well, once the SNAP benefits, kind of took place, we're seeing over 1,000 people. Our parking lot, not just our parking lot, but the whole block is filled. We had about 400 cars, so we had the police department is always on standby, just to help us, make sure traffic is going in the right direction, because that many cars in one area, it can get, pretty crazy if we don't, have some people there helping us out. But I think checking our social media out, Young and Established, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, we use them all. But donations, of course.
Hopefully soon you'll have the app. So.
Hopefully. We're still working on that, but yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, to discuss an organization that has played a large role in feeding our community, we have Victoria Flaherty, Assistant Director of Advancement from the Evansville Rescue Mission. Victoria, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me how the Evansville Rescue Mission helps with food insecurity in our area.
So the Evansville Rescue Mission's been around a long time. We provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day for the community at our downtown campus. So breakfast, 6 a.m., lunch, noon, dinner, 5, every day. Everyone's welcome. If you can't stay, we'll provide you a meal to go. But that's the biggest way that we help with food insecurity. Everyone's welcome. We want you to dine with us.
So have you seen a recent increase in the need?
We have. So we were just looking over our numbers, and last October, we fed about 8,000 meals. No, 18,000 meals. I'm sorry. We fed folks about 18,000 meals. This October, we served 36,000.
Oh my gosh.
So the need has doubled for us in that area.
So is this individuals coming in or sometimes families? How is that working?
Both. So individuals, and we count individual meals, but families come in, kiddos, elderly folks, everybody.
So how do you acquire food that you provide for these families and people?
So a few different ways. One of the ways that we acquire food, we have great relationships with folks that we can purchase food from. So donations from the community go a long way for us because we're able to purchase things. For us, meals are $2.93 roughly, so we're able to buy that. Also, Evansville is a generous community. The Tri-State's such a generous community. So we are provided with donations. We pick things up. We're happy to take food off your hands. We're able to gather donations from the community as well.
So have you noticed with everything that's been going on with SNAP benefits and all that, has that been also bring about a change in the need?
Yes, absolutely. It's just very, it's heart-wrenching to see. We see a lot more families, a lot more kids, a lot more people calling the shelter for resources. It definitely has proved to be, it makes it a little bit more difficult to feed everybody, but that's our number one goal. So we're going to do everything we can. But yeah, we definitely have seen an uptick in that.
So what do you do when there's a need like this that you're not really set up for, and all of a sudden it's changing? What do you do to try and hit that?
I think most nonprofits will say that we're going to fight until we can't. So we're going to feed folks until we just can't do it anymore because we're not here. But we've recently added, we have a big food box giveaway coming up called the Gobbler Gathering, and we added 200 more boxes of food just to meet some of the need. And luckily, Evansville has a lot of resources, so we're not the only folks that are able to do that, but just adding 200 was a big deal for us. So we give away about a 70-pound box of food on that day. It's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving to 2,500 Tri-State families.
And what do they get in that box?
So much. So it is Thanksgiving themed, but we want that food to be used where it's needed. So they're getting a 10 to 12-pound turkey. They're getting celery, potatoes, and onions, and then a plethora of non-perishables. So corn, green beans, stuffing mix, cornbread mix, cake mix, all kinds of stuff. Macaroni and cheese, boxes of mac and cheese. So all kinds of stuff. Bread. And we've partnered a little bit with Centerpoint, so everybody's getting light bulbs and power strips. Yeah.
All right.
So that's pretty fun too.
So do you ever have to turn people away? I mean,
I hate it, but yeah, we, with our 2,500, so 2,500 folks, there's still more. Mm-hmm. So if we can do it, we will. Like I said, we'll fight until we can't. But yeah, it's really hard to say no. But sometimes, we just, if we don't have it, we can't give it.
Now, do you notice? I know you mentioned Thanksgiving in particular, but do you notice a change seasonally in the need of people are needing food?
Yeah, the colder months, I feel like it's a little bit tougher out there, just more, heat's more expensive and, just more cost for things. So sometimes that food budget gets a little bit smaller. So we definitely see an uptick every year seasonally in just meals served and food given away.
What kind of hurdles do you think people face when they're reaching out to receive help?
So many. It's so hard. I try to, meet anybody that needs help just where they are, because it's tough to reach out to get help for anything. But, you have to make phone calls, and sometimes you have to have documents you might not have, and, all kinds of stuff. We're very fortunate at the Rescue Mission where we can just give food away.
Right.
You don't have to have any of that. You don't have to have an ID. Just come down and get some food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. At the Rescue Mission, but sometimes it's hard.
What are some of the events the Rescue Mission has coming up?
So our biggest event, the Gobbler Gathering, we joke and say it's our Super Bowl. It's our favorite day of the year. One, because we love to serve our community, but two, it's just a fun day. So the Gobbler Gathering is coming up. Like I said, we're giving away 2,500 boxes of food. But it's like an all-day party. So it's very fun. So that's coming up, and that's our last major event for the year. That we have. Then in 2026, we'll start off the year with Golf Scramble and some different things. Last weekend, we had our Drumstick Dash, and all of the money raised from our Drumstick Dash 5K race goes straight into the Gobbler Gathering.
Oh, wow.
So we love that.
And that's probably one of your biggest fundraisers, right?
It is. That and the Fall Festival. The Fall Festival just, it feels like yesterday. But, all of that goes into the Gobbler Gathering as well.
So how can people learn more or help out the Evansville Rescue Mission?
Yeah, so our website's evansvillerescuemission.org. And all of our information, that's the easiest place to find us. Also social media, Evansville Rescue Mission on Facebook, Instagram. Definitely lots of info out there. You can help, you can give us a call, 812-421-3800. Christy will answer the phone and she'll point you in the right direction. But yeah, you can give online, or you can give if you wanted to do a food drive or something like that. Give us a call. We'd love to have you.
And you don't have to give much to feed a lot of people.
Right. That's correct. Like I said, $2.93 is what feeds a person a meal at the Evansville Rescue Mission.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks.
Thanks to all of our guests for joining us to talk about local food insecurity. I'm April Nading. Thanks for watching WNIN Newsmakers.